Now we want to look at how to find the function value. What does this mean, the function value? Function value is actually the values of the output, right? Or the y values, or the elements in the range, which is called the function values. So how to find the function values? Let's use some examples. If you have a function g of x, which is equal to negative 4x squared plus x minus 9. So what is g of negative 2? What does this mean? So here you see if here 2, negative 2, replace the position of x. So in other words, we can replace x with negative 2 everywhere on the right side, right? In other words, the input is negative 2 for the x variable. The input is negative 2. What is the output? We just replace x with negative 2. So this means negative 4 times negative 2 squared. So, but you cannot write this way because this x squared means the whole negative 2 squared, not negative 2 squared, right? Then you plus negative 2, so always use the parentheses, equals 9. So this is equal to negative 16 minus 2 minus 9, so which is equal to negative 27, right? So what about g of 1? So in other words, the input is 1. What is the output? Or what is the function values? G function values. Here is g value. Here, this function is called g. Okay, so it's equal to negative 4 times 1, we use the parentheses, square, plus 1 minus 9. So this would be negative 4 plus 1 minus 9, which is equal to negative 12. Right. Another example. If f of x is given by x squared minus 8 over x cubed plus 7x, what is f of negative 2? So again, that means we replace x with negative 2 on the right side. So negative 2 parentheses square minus 8, negative 2 parentheses plus 7 times parentheses negative 2. We replace position of x by negative 2. So this is equal to 4 minus 8, right? This negative 2 squared equals 4, not negative 4. This is negative 8 minus 14, right? So you have, this is negative 4 over negative 22. So let's simplify. It's 2 over 11. So the next question is, can we plug in any number you want? The answer is no. You cannot plug in any numbers, but all the numbers you can plug in, which is called the domain. So the next question is to find the domain. So in other words, you can find all the x values such that you can plug into the function. You can plug into the function. Okay, plug into the function. So now let's look at some examples to help you to understand what is how to find the domain. So one example is if f of x equals x over x minus 2, what is the domain? So in other words, we want to find all the x values such that x can plug in. But here, from this function, we notice that the denominator cannot be 0. So in other words, we cannot plug in x values such that x minus 2 equals 0. So what is that x values, which is x equals 2? So it tells you that the domain is x can be all the numbers except 2. So x is not equal to 2. So this is the domain. So if we want to use the interval notations, x is not equal to 2. So that means x is from negative infinity to 2, or x from 2 to positive infinity or to infinity, but it cannot be 2. These two intervals, we connect these two intervals together, we use this symbol, which is called union. So that means which is x negative infinity to 2 or 2 to positive infinity. Okay, so this represents x is not equal to 2. From negative infinity to 2, union from 2 to positive infinity. So now let's look at this function. F of x equals 3 minus x. So for this one, we cannot make 3 minus x to be a negative number. So in other words, so for this one, 3 minus x must be greater than or equal to 0, right? So we plus x, so 3 greater than or equal to x. So in other words, we can write by our convention, we always write x on the left side. X is less than or equal to 3. So by the interval notation, it would be negative infinity to 3 bracket, because 3 is included. Another example, negative 7x plus 7, and that's plus 9. What is the restrictions for the x? Can we plug in any x? Yes, we can plug in any x, right? Any number. There's no problem for plugging in any numbers. So the domain is any x. So in other words, it's from negative infinity to positive infinity. All real numbers. F of x equals 8 over x cubed. For this one, again, x cubed cannot be 0, right? X cubed is not 0, that means x is not 0. So this is the domain. If you want to use the interval notation, it would be negative infinity to 0, union 0 to positive infinity. Okay, so now let's look at some other problems. So this is an example. The function m described m of x, this is the function, equals 2.89 times x plus 70.64. We use this function to estimate the height in centimeters of a male whose humerus, what is the humerus? The bow from the elbow to the shoulder is x centimeter long. So we want to estimate the height of a male whose humerus is 30.93 centimeter long. Round your answer to the nearest 4 decimals. So this is the m equals 2.8 times x centimeters long for humerus. So now our x is equal to 30.93. So the height m at x equals 30.93. What is this height? We plug in 30.93 into this equation, this function. This is 2.89 times 30.93 plus 70.6. Okay, so let's do the calculation. Use your calculator. Do the calculation. 2.989 times 30.93 equals 89.3877 plus 70.64. So here is when you do the calculation, keep the decimals as many as possible from your calculator. Okay, otherwise sometimes you will make some error. Okay, estimated error. So if you do the calculation here, you plus 70.64, which is equal to 160.0277. So since it asks you to round your answer to the nearest 4 decimal places, so this is the 4 decimal places already, so you just keep it. So this is your answer, centimeter long. Let's look at another one. In this problem, we want to estimate the ideal minimum weight of a woman in pounds. How to estimate? We use the following rule. We multiply her height in inches by 4 and subtract 130. If we let W to be the ideal minimum weight and H is the height, it tells you W is a linear function of H. So this is W equal to, we use this rule, multiply its height by 4. So 4 times height in inches, then subtract 130. So this is called a linear function, right? Linear function of H. Why it's called linear function? Because W is a linear function of H. The reason is here we only have H terms and the power of H equals 1. If here power of H is 2, 3, 4 other numbers except 1, then we cannot say this one is a linear function. Okay? So this is a relation. So we want to find the ideal minimum weight of a woman whose height is 62 inches. So in other words, H is 60 inches. So the W equals 4 times 62 minus 130. So this is the 824 minus 130. So which is 118 pounds. So this is the ideal minimum weight for 62 inches woman, height woman.